What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. Now, this is a video I meant to record 2 days ago, 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, I ended up coming home from work and I went to bed early. And then 2 nights before then, or no, 2 nights before then, what am I talking about? And then last night, I got home, I watched the end of the Hawks get blown out by 50 points to the Indiana Pacers, and then I went to sleep early. So I've just been pretty exhausted the tail end of last week because I've been working hard, man. It's a new season. It's a new year. I don't know what I'm talking about, a new season. It's a new calendar year. I set a lot of high expectations for myself this year. If you might have noticed, been a little more active on the channel, trying to get things back to how it used to be when I uploaded all the time and had things rolling and stuff like that. But the thing I am thankful for is I have such a solid subscriber community and thing built over on this side of YouTube that you guys still tune in when it's something that you guys care about. As you can see here, as I share my screen, and we'll get into the video. 3 days ago, Caitlin Clark reaction, the junk got 1,000 views. It's just like how it used to be, getting 1,000, 2,000, blah, 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 blah. But there's a lot of comments on here, and usually when there's a lot of comments, if you don't know, if you might be new to the channel, when it's a lot of comments, I usually make a video just reading the comments instead of responding to them all because I'm ripping and running and doing this and doing that. It's a lot of time. And people like to hear what I have to say when I read their comments and stuff like that out loud. So all the comments I really loved and stuff and appreciated. There was one comment I didn't like, so whenever we get to it, I'm gonna address it then, but let's do it like this. I'm gonna just go kind of in order and stuff like that. I gave my disclaimer here, and then somebody else went on me, and I was like, dang, boy, y'all ain't even read my dang. I pinned it and everything, you know what I mean? Like, so y'all can see it. I said, I saw their in arena photo. She got the ball off at 0.1 seconds, according to the photo and everything like that. Yes, and what Don was actually talking about, she was talking about the shooting foul. It was like, what was it, like with 35 seconds left or something like that to get it to 71. I saw that clip later and everything like that. And yeah, it was, who was it? It was Molly Davis. She was looking down, dribbling on the ground, and she got tripped up, and then they ended up calling it a shooting foul, and that, tied up the game, and then eventually, even put them in a position once the layup was made to do things like that. So it was all of that stuff. Anyways, yes. So I agree with Don there. So with that being said, people have responded. Let's go. Okay. Survivors. Shh. We are taking that fifth one. We are taking the fifth on that one with Molly because she actually went into shooting motion. The ball got knocked away and both players ended up on the floor. None of the referees were in the best position to see that it shouldn't have been called a shooting foul, but we weren't going to say any more than the 15,000 people. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I didn't read this full thing. A lot of these I just skimmed or whatever, so if I didn't respond, that's the first time I saw. That's funny. That's actually funny as heck. So shout out to survivors. That's a funny comment. It made me laugh. All right, the truth. I appreciated this comment because it was like some good stuff. The call on Molly shooting was wrong, but it didn't win the game. Iowa kept possession. They probably score anyways if they didn't get the scores tied. Since after Molly foul shots tied it, then Caitlin won it. How many fouls were not called on Caitlin when she was shooting? The 3 when she fell down because the player didn't give her space to come down on the foul. Does Don see that? Great game and fantastic clutch shot. Enjoy your commentary, Rashad. Thank you so much. As you see, I already like this because it was just a nice comment. I appreciate that, John. Yeah, I was annoyed by the fouls that weren't called. Fair enough. There was 0.01 right there. I'll read Survivor's other comment as well. Just because I'm reading everybody else's comments, I might as well. There was 0.01 on the second of the shot when it left her hands. It was probably 6 feet away from her hands when the red light lit up. 6 feet away from her hands, I feel like, I might be a minute away. I'm going to let you have it. Away from her heads when the red light lit up the backboard. The refs looked at it for a while before calling it good. Michigan State never uttered a word when it was all said and done. That is as close as it can when defending the last shot. I don't know why it sounds so obvious here because it wasn't quite obvious during the game. I plan on watching it some more today, but I'm feeling warm and fuzzy about it. The Spartans should be ranked after this game. Salute. Yeah, the Spartans, Michigan State put on a game, man. Michigan State for sure put on a game. For those of you who don't know, for the Iowa and Caitlin Clark fans, you guys do know. You guys, Iowa already played another game on Friday night, and Caitlin had another triple-double. She's hooping. It is worth noting, if you want to note the little small things and stuff like that, the things that do matter in the big picture. She did take 34 shots in this game where she had 40 and hit the game winner. But she hit the shots that mattered the most, including the game winner. She was out injured in last year's final, so needed when all three tops were in foul trouble early. Okay. I think we're talking about the big that I was like, isn't she the big from? She was a freshman last year, I think, and I was like, I like her game. If the ball is out of the hand when time is still left on the clock, in this case, 0.1 left on the clock, clearly in the replay, this stuff counts. How many times the clock on the screen isn't exactly synced with the clock on the backboard? A half-second difference is pretty common. Thank you so much, Tyrone Biggins. When you see from down court, the shot time clock was not out. The coverage clock was slightly faster than the game clock. Thank you so much, Brad Clifton. Dude, the TV clock means nothing. Look at the angle from behind that shows the clock above the backboard. That shot was, in all caps, good. Thank you so much, Steve. Oh, this is the one. This was the first one. And I already pinned the comment at the time. This got 3 likes, too. I was so surprised. You have no clue. Watch the slow replay. The shot was good. The TV clock means nothing. And I'm like, dang, you ain't look at my comment. Tough crowd today, I see. I already knew what type of time y'all was going to be. Rashad, ... my dog trainer joke. You've got to do the research before the video, not after. You were right about the foul, though. She pump fake and was getting ready to drive. Ball out of bounds to Iowa. And I said, yeah, that'll take out all the fun. All right, here we go. Troy, you got to watch from a different angle and see 1 second on the shot clock. Here we go. No. This ain't the one, but the next one is the one. Here we go. You watch it from a different angle and you see 1 second on the clock and it's out of her hands. So suck it, Don. There's no need to tell Don to suck it. You could have done that in a more calm and peaceful way. This is the one I wanted to get to. David Weiss. Well, I got to read the full thing now. David Weiss, 8710. That could be 8,710. That could be 8710. The last 4 of his, I don't know. But here we go. No, quote unquote, doing this for the culture. ... LUL. Some people shouldn't use TikTok lines. Mr. David Weiss. I don't know if you can see, but I'm a young black man from Atlanta, in my 20s. This is not TikTok language. I don't even have a TikTok account. I'm probably going to get one in 2024 for promotional sakes and things like that, blah, blah, social media stuff. I did not get this doing it for the culture from TikTok. Doing it for the culture. The culture is actually an outdated term, actually. It's probably like, it peaked in like 2016. It's just young people, it's just how young people speak. It's just slang, bro. And then mocking the way that I speak and the slang I use, you can do that if you want to. I know I have a degree. I know I went to college. I know I'm a professional and I'm a job and this and that and blah, blah, blah. You can make fun of it all you want to. From this looks, it looks like you're black as well. So I see that as anti-black. So until you deal with the little issues you got in the mirror with yourself, all the self-hate, you can get that off my page. With that being said, a lot of people came from me in these comments, but I don't even think they were coming from me. As you can see, I think a lot of people, there's probably some other comments that are hidden, like YouTube hit them, because like YouTube is like tricked with comments and stuff like that. But there are definitely some more in the notifications that I haven't seen. I say all this to say that I have no problem with all these comments, except for David's. David sound like it's some hate himself, blah, blah, blah. He has some personal issues because he came from me. Because everything was about the basketball. Everything was about Iowa. Everything was about Caitlin Clark. Everything was about basketball. And this reiterates the point that I always have had. I have the smartest subscriber basketball fan base on YouTube. I do. It's the truth. It's the truth. I have the smartest one. I was about to say the farthest one. And I say all this because I much rather have my subscriber base and the people who follow me As opposed to these jokers. Let's get back to sharing the screen. As opposed to these jokers. Let's get into it. Michael Wilbon. Once again, talking about Caitlin Clark should stay in school to keep the NIL money, use the COVID year, and come back again because WNBA people don't care and you ain't going to make as much money. You got real life WNBA people telling you don't know what you're talking about, sir. We ain't getting bands, we ain't getting money. Anybody the size of Caitlin Clark, anybody the size of Angel Reese, anybody the size of, which we're about to get into next, Paige Beckers, anybody the size of Haley Van Lith, Skylar Diggins Smith, Candace Parker, etc., etc., Lexi Brown, we can go down the line. People are going to be popping regardless. Forever, because they're famous. They're going to get the deals, they're going to get the commercials, they're going to get, especially nowadays, you can't tell me in an era where we see Sydney Colson and TP over there, Teresa over there with the Las Vegas Aces, don't play more than 5 minutes on a normal night with the Las Vegas Aces, getting commercials, have their own podcast, and getting invited into the Pivot Pod, one of the biggest podcasts out there in the sports world. You can't tell me that there's not money in the WNBA when the bench players is getting money. You can't tell me that. So it's just like people are going on with these outdated beliefs. And Michael Wilbon, you know, I believe he might be, he might not be, but he might be one of those guys that is in the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame as a media member, stuff like that. He's got his name hung up. He might be one of those guys. I'm not 100% sure. So salute to him and everything he's done in his career. Very nice guy. I met him once at an NABJ 2018 in Detroit. Very nice guy. He's not stuck up for his, you know, celebrity within the sports journalism world. But yeah, brother, I think the older you get, and I grew up watching them every single day after school and stuff. But like when you grow up watching them and you're a young, impressionable kid, you just kind of assume these people are experts at everything. They know everything about everything because they speak with such conviction and like, I know what I'm talking about. Then you grow up and you realize they're just like no different than the guy that goes on ESPN.com all day, you know what I mean? Like, than a casual online user and sports consumer. They're not like some super giants that know everything about everything. And they really expose themselves when they talk about the sports and the things that they don't necessarily cover all the time. Women's basketball. People always talking about get women's basketball on TV, women's basketball consistent show, things of that nature. And these are the type of reasons why people advocate for that, because the people who are the big wigs and everything else, when they speak on women's basketball, they speak with the same conviction as they would if it was the NBA or the NFL, the two main things that they cover. And they couldn't be way more off base on what's actually going on. So Lexi Brown said, stop talking about the W. He said, I let it slide during the finals, but enough with the slander. And here we go. I want to go into it because where are we at? Oh, here we go. Tanisha Wright, she spoke on it. She said, let's please move on from this narrative. Nobody plays in the W for the money alone. Of course, it's a huge factor, but it's not the main factor. These athletes are living out lifelong dreams. The W is the best women's basketball league in the world, all caps. 2. So if maximizing your earning potential and continuing your education is your top priority, then the answer is easy. But if athletes want to compete at the highest level with or against the best players in the world, the 144. And Lexi Brown said, well said, coach. But you can get money in the W, bruh. You can get money in the W. If you're a celebrity, this is Lexi Brown. Lexi Brown ain't the biggest star on the court. And shout out to Lexi Brown. She's found a home over there in Los Angeles, over there with the Sparks. She's in a rotation. She's a pivotal part of their rotation. Everything, the nucleus they got going on in Los Angeles. She had an undisclosed illness that she was dealing with last year. Took her out for a huge part of last season. But all in all, she's found a home in Los Angeles professionally after traveling around after AU and things of that nature, looking for a home in the W. And she's finally found one. So salute to Lexi Brown. But Lexi Brown being that and not being the top 5 player in the league and not being an all-star, how do you say it? Undisputed all-star. That's the word I'm looking for. And she's getting money because she's doing Gilbert Arenas, because she's doing Instagram deals, because she's doing brand deals and she's doing this, she's still finding a way to get to the money. That's proof. There's ways to get to the money and the W. So if you're Caitlin Clark, someone who's already on the commercials with the like a good name, birthday bomb right there, if you already doing those commercials in college, stuff ain't gonna change in the W, bro. I know Breonna Stewart, she went up there with the ESPY and she won an ESPY for best female athlete. I don't know if she was a rookie or first couple years with the Seattle Storm, and she went up there and she said, with UConn, we had so much media attention, so many people at our press conferences and practices and things like that, and in W is the complete opposite. Salute to Stewie, but you know, it took a while for Stewie to really build her off the court brand in the W once she became professional, other than leaning on the fact she was a really good basketball player for UConn. For a lot of players, it takes them a while, but for a player like Caitlin Clark, for a player like Paige Becker, for a player like Angel Reese, who've already have established brands outside of basketball now, and they're already looked up to by these kids, for players like Fla J, who already have brands established outside of basketball, Haley Van Lith, all these players outside of basketball already, they're good. They can go to the WNBA because they're still going to have their names and their brands from outside of basketball. Perfect example is Lexi Brown. Anyways, let's go on to this next one. So we have Jay Chuck Fields, who calls himself a sports branding consultant, and I guess he might be a LA or Miami guy because he's got USC and University of Miami in there. Paige Beckers is not a household name like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Her on-the-court play this year is starting to spark that gaining her new fame, which all leads to new NIL opportunities. Her current NIL is not the half of Reese's or Clark's. Disagree? My brother, what is you talking about? Let me tell you. See, a few of y'all, you know what I'm saying, you give them grace and things like that. Because, like, the first time they might have watched women's basketball that might have been the first time. This might have been the first time they watched women's basketball. And you want to give them grace for that, but when people speak with such conviction, like what they're talking about is true, it's true. You just have to sometimes remind people what actually is going on and who exactly is who. Now, for those of you who might not know on this channel, I have a whole video about it from like May or something like that. You can check that out when you want to. But this young woman right here on the cover of Sports Illustrated in high school, next to Marietta great Eric Gilbert. We're praying for you, Eric, and your mental health as well right now. He's going through some things. He's been arrested a few times and hopped to about a few different schools. He went to Florida, LSU, Georgia, Nebraska, in and out the transfer portal, in and out of trouble, in and out of jail. We're praying for his mental health. But that's an extremely young, talented brother, and I just hope he gets it right as a human being before him as an athlete. Extremely talented and tall guy. Baby Gronk, they used to call him in high school. Anyways, Marietta, that's my alumni. Paige Beckers, this young lady right here, she one of the reasons this channel even went to that next level and built that base around women's basketball. People might think it's Caitlin Clark or whatever, but it was Paige Beckers first. Pistol Paige Buckets, one of the more exciting players you will ever see, men or women, touch a basketball. You have to keep it a bean. The reason why people weren't talking about Paige that much this season, sir, isn't because Paige did this or Paige starting to get it going. The reason people are talking about Paige or aren't talking about Paige as much as they're talking about Caitlin this year is because the last 2 years, Paige has been hurt. And then on top of that, this year, when she did come back to the court, the rest of her team has been hurt. So since the rest of her team has been hurt, they haven't been winning as many games. They aren't at the top of the rankings. They aren't like top 5 like Iowa is. They're not number 1 like South Carolina is. They're not in the top whatever LSU is right now. They're not the Kiki Rices. They're not the Juju Watkins. They're not the old girl from Utah over there. They're shaking it up right now. They're not the Cameron Brinks at Stanford. They are not these particular players because the whole team is hurt. So they're not in that discussion. They're not in that conversation. Paige Beckers is still Paige Beckers. She's still behind the back in transition. She's still three ball shooter, crazy shooter, mid-range game there. Take it to the lane, Hezzy frees you, she's still there. She's still who she is. You know what I mean? So when people don't know these things, it's embarrassing. And he said, I'm focused on that now. My findings were based on her last 4 games. So you went on her last 4 games. Paige Beggar's been in the college for 4 years, bro. 3 or 4 years, bro. She been in the league 3-4 years, bro. Come on, dog. Numbers don't lie. Your debate is proof that my statements are accurate. Bro, what are you talking about, brother? And he's still trying to she not as big as Caitlyn or Angel Reese. My dude, if you didn't know, they came out the same class, dog. Paige was number 1. Angel was number 2. Caitlyn was like top 5, maybe top 6, something like that. That's what they were coming out. The class of Haley Van Lith too. Paige was leaps and bounds beyond all of them. Ball is life, overtime, so-and-so, da-da-da-da. That's how I even met Paige. Through Overtime Elite. Because they still bringing her back. Because she still brings in views. She's still putting money in folks' pockets. Thank you, Paige. What are you talking about, bro? Angel Reese at Maryland. No one knew Angel Reese outside of people who watch women's basketball. She transfers at LSU. She makes some noise or whatever. She putting up crazy numbers against Mississippi Southern Baptist. Ain't no one really paying attention. People are like, I got to pay attention. Angel Reese getting 20 and 20. It's going crazy. She did the little dance. Got some attention off of that. She did the block without a shoe. She got some attention off that. But it really went, put it on the floor, balling like I'm LSU. It really went that in the tournament. That's when it really went up, as you guys all know. Caitlin Clark been doing the half court between the legs, no look passes, 10 assists a game, shooting from half court since her freshman year. We've been reacting to these since freshman year. You could look it up on the channel. Nobody still knew who Caitlin Clark was outside of people who watch women's basketball. In fact, people were using Caitlin Clark to be like, everybody paying attention to Paige Beggars, but nobody's paying attention to Caitlin Clark because of UConn bias. That was actually a thing. Caitlin Clark isn't getting enough attention. Believe it or not, a couple of years ago. I was there. We were all there. We have the internet. I much rather have the criticism and the comments that I do because they're based in basketball and from a place of intelligence. I'm so thankful for you all. Thank you so much for adding to the conversation each and every single time I put something out. As opposed to being called for being dumb, misogynistic, male-gazing, stupid man. They're playing a game of basketball and think I know all the game and I don't know squat diddly that. I told y'all. Man, I ain't been watching that many games this year. I ain't been able to keep up. I keep it a buck. The difference between me and these jokers say with conviction. I said what I said with my chest, and I stand on that. And be wrong. When they get called out for being wrong, they still got to stand on what they said. For what, buddy? You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. It's okay to admit you don't know what you're talking about. That's the name of the video. In 2024, it's okay to admit you don't know what you're talking about. Don't come in a women's basketball space and claim yourself the king of the... I had a picture in my phone. If I could find it and pull it up, I will put it in this video. It's a picture of Peter Griffin with a crown on his head and the little, them little things, the little things that the pageant people be getting. And it says, King of the Black People, and he holding the thing. That's how y'all be acting when y'all talk about women's basketball and y'all don't know a thing about women's basketball. I respect and admire Lowe so much for what he's done on the content creator side and making himself a millionaire and from being an entrepreneur based in Atlanta, not going to LA, and not showing his behind to get millions of views and build a fan base, but using his mind, not his looks, his mind, his knowledge, to build something on YouTube and to build a community and to build a career and a lifestyle for him and his family. I salute him. Legends of winning, for those of you who don't know. When that joker opens his mouth on anything about women's basketball, he sounds stupid. And he speaks with the same conviction as if he's debating who his top 5 players in the NBA are, which he has a little more knowledge about. Some of those takes be wrong too, but at least he don't sound stupid, because you know the joker watched the games and you know the joker tuned in with the culture. People have no problem with you joining a culture, a particular culture, and growing the game and having a larger community, right? The reason why people want to gatekeep and are so particular to their community and things like that is because when you come into the space and act like you know everything and you don't know jack squat, you expose yourself and you look stupid and you make everybody look bad in the space. Stay on that side. Either come in, learn, sit down, be quiet, eat your food, learn what's going on, or don't say anything at all. It's okay not to speak. And that brings me back to, hold on, because y'all thought I forgot. And that brings me back to, that brings me back to Mr. Weiss. Because Joker, you don't know me. If this your first time watching me, you don't know me. It's like when people used to complain about the "don't leave his mom." When I used to get up in the videos and the reactions and stuff, a lot of the references that I put were hip hop rap references. And if you don't listen to hip hop rap music, if you ain't plugged in with hip hop culture, you ain't gonna get it. It's gonna go over your head. So when people used to comment that stuff, it didn't get to me because I was like, this is not for you. You just don't understand the culture that I'm coming from. And it's okay. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Just don't come in here and mocking me when you don't know what you're talking about, sir. Hello? This is the road to 5K subs. If you are new to the channel, my name is Rashad Milligan. Until next time, please take care of yourselves. Be easy.